The number that changed everything. The morning sun filtered through the tall windows of Thornton Enterprises, casting long shadows across the marble floors of the executive lobby. It should have been a beautiful day. Instead, it felt like a funeral. James Thornton sat on the leather couch in the reception area, a black briefcase beside him, staring at the document in his hands. Chapter 11 Bankruptcy Filing. The words blurred as he read them for the 100th time. 23 years of building his company, and it had all come down to this single moment. One signature, and everything would be gone. His employees stood in clusters throughout the lobby, their faces somber. They knew what today meant. Human Resources had sent the memo yesterday. After the signing, there would be layoffs. Massive ones. Families would lose their income. Dreams would collapse. And it was all his fault. James had made one catastrophic mistake 6 months ago. He trusted his CFO, Martin Webb, with a major expansion deal. The numbers had looked perfect. Though perfect, he realized now. Martin had been cooking the books, hiding losses, inflating projections. By the time James discovered the truth, Martin had disappeared with $3 million, and the company was drowning in debt. The lawyers had been clear. There was no other option. File for bankruptcy protection, restructure, and hope to salvage something from the wreckage. The alternative was total collapse. James looked at his watch. 10 more minutes until the bankruptcy attorney arrived. 10 minutes until he signed away everything he'd built since Sophie died. This company had been his salvation once, his reason to keep breathing. Now it would be his greatest failure. A small sound caught his attention. A little girl stood a few feet away, watching him with curious blue eyes. She couldn't have been more than 5 years old, with blonde curls pulled into 2 small buns on top of her head. She wore a pink dress and white shoes that lit up when she walked. In her small hands, she clutched a juice box. James recognized her vaguely. One of the employees' daughters, probably. Someone must have brought her to work today, not able to find childcare on such short notice. "Hello," James said quietly, trying to muster a smile. Children deserved kindness, even on the worst days. The little girl tilted her head, studying him with the intense focus only children possess. Then she walked closer, her shoes blinking with each step. "You look sad," she said simply. James felt his throat tighten. "I am sad," he admitted. "Sometimes grown-ups have sad days too." She nodded as if this made perfect sense. "My mommy says when she's sad, she does her numbers again. She says sometimes you miss one and that changes everything." James smiled despite himself. "Your mommy sounds very smart." The girl pointed at the papers in his hands. "Are those your numbers?" "Sort of," James said. "These are, well, they're important papers about my company." "Can I see?" Every instinct told James to say no. These were confidential documents, financial records, legal papers. But something in the child's innocent curiosity touched him. What did it matter now, anyway? In 10 minutes, it would all be public record. "Sure," he said, holding out the bankruptcy filing. The little girl set down her juice box and took the papers carefully, as if they were precious. She couldn't possibly read them, James thought. But she studied each page with surprising seriousness, her small finger tracing along the lines of text and numbers. She stopped on page 7. The asset declaration page. Her finger hovered over a number in the middle of the document. "See," she said, looking up at him with those clear blue eyes. "You missed this number." James leaned forward. "What do you mean, sweetheart?" She pointed to a line item halfway down the page. "Intellectual property assets, patent portfolio." The value listed was 0. "This number is wrong," she said with absolute certainty. "It should be something. Nothing is never worth 0. My mommy says everything is worth something if you look hard enough." James felt his heart skip. He took the papers back, staring at the line. The patent portfolio. In all the chaos of the past 6 months, he'd completely forgotten about it. 10 years ago, his research and development team had created a revolutionary water filtration system. It had been ahead of its time, too expensive to manufacture at scale. They'd patented it and moved on to other projects. But technology had advanced. Manufacturing costs had dropped. And water scarcity had become a global crisis. James pulled out his phone with shaking hands. It dialed his head of legal, Richard Chun. "Richard," he said, his voice urgent. "The water filtration patents from 2015. Are they still active?" "Yes," Richard replied, confusion in his voice. "We renewed them last year." "Why? Have there been any licensing inquiries? Any interest at all?" There was a pause. "Actually, yes. We got 3 inquiries in the past 4 months. He flagged them for review, but with everything happening, I assumed you'd seen them and—" "Send me everything," James interrupted. "Right now. Every inquiry, every detail." He hung up and looked at the little girl, who was calmly sipping her juice box, her shoes still blinking. "What's your name?" James asked. "Lily," she said. "Lily Mitchell." The name hit him like a physical blow. Michie. Sarah Mitchell's daughter. The woman he'd helped 6 months ago, the one he'd given a chance to start over. She'd gotten a job in his accounting department, had been working here for 4 months now. This was her daughter. His phone buzzed. Richard's email. James opened it, scanning frantically. 3 major international companies had expressed interest in licensing the water filtration patents. One had mentioned a potential offer in the range of $40 million. $40 million. It wouldn't erase all the debt, but it would be enough. A note to avoid bankruptcy. A note to restructure properly. Enough to save the company and keep his employees working. All because a 5-year-old girl had noticed a zero that shouldn't be there. James stood up, his hands trembling. His assistant, Jennifer, rushed over. "Cancel the bankruptcy attorney," he said. "Get Richard, the entire legal team, and our patent specialists in the conference room immediately. And call Goldman and Associates. Tell them we have assets to negotiate." Jennifer stared at him. "Sir, I don't understand." "We're not filing," James said, his voice stronger than it had been in months. "We have options. We have a chance." The employees in the lobby began to murmur, confusion rippling through the crowd. James turned to address them. "I need everyone to give me 48 hours, he announced, his voice carrying across the marble space. "I know you've been told today was the end. It's not. We have a path forward. Trust me for 2 more days." Hope flickered across tired faces. It was fragile, uncertain, but it was there. James looked down at Lily, who was finishing her juice box, seemingly unaware that she'd just saved an entire company. "Lily," he said gently, kneeling down to her level. "Thank you. You just taught me something very important." "What?" she asked. "That sometimes the answers we need are right in front of us. We just need fresh eyes to see them." She smiled. "My mommy says I'm good at finding things." "Your mommy is right." Sarah Mitchell appeared then, rushing across the lobby, worry on her face. "Lily. I'm so sorry, Mr. Thornton. He brought her in just for a moment while I finished the quarterly reports. He told her to stay in my office." "It's fine," James said, standing. "Better than fine. Your daughter just saved this company." Sarah looked confused, but James just smiled. It would explain later. Right now, he had phone calls to make and a company to save. As Sarah led Lily away, the little girl looked back and waved. James waved back, watching her light-up shoes blink down the hallway. Sometimes salvation comes from the most unexpected places. Sometimes it takes the wisdom of a child to see what adults have overlooked. And sometimes, the number that changes everything is the one you thought was worth nothing at all. James picked up his briefcase and headed to the conference room. There was work to do.